Okay. Just eyeballs. It is. I switched it. I had to work on it to get the background faded out, but I did it. I did it. Hi, DS King of Kings, and hello, Justin, over there on the YouTube. Hi, Dragon's Celt on Twitch. I see y'all. There she be. There she be, Chicky. Hello, everybody. Oh, goodness me. Trying to get myself together today. Okay. Hope everyone's being good. Hopefully. Or we'll find out about it while we receipts. Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody over there on the YouTube as well. Dragon's Celt, I see you over there. Ruger, see you over there. Thank you guys for coming in and supporting every day. I appreciate that. Yeah, define good. That's true. It is where we're at. Trying here. Hasn't snowed in 3 hours. Well, that's good. I was like, we haven't gotten a lot of snow here, surprisingly. So, you know, it is what it is.
Hello.
Hello. Goodness me. Okay. I guess I'll do my spiel. I gotta get my I'm told you, I'm like not here. Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here and supporting. I can see you're already starting on that like bar. Thank you so much. Let's work our way to 10,000 likes. Like I said, I like to get to 50,000 likes within the first hour of being live. So for my time, that is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That would be wonderful if we could get there. So thank you guys. Thank you, Tappers, for doing that. We did hit 100,000 likes yesterday after my full 2 hours. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Make sure you are sharing the live, doing your daily heart me if you have not done so. I've got the little roses up there. We can get that completed. That helps push us onto the algorithm so that we can keep having conversations. And I have my 100 goal that I have every single day, guys. I would really appreciate it if we could hit it. That this is my job. So if you could tip your content creators, that would be awesome. And guys, I finally switched out the little chibi thing. And this is my daughter drew this. So I now have that up. I do have a little bit of an outline. I doubt it'll be the entire, like, take up the entirety of 2 hours, so we'll see where we get to. But, you know, got a little bit of something together. It's hard because there's not much going on right now because everything is State of the Union, State of the Union, State of the Union. So it's just kind of where we're at. Don't
We could always
forget.
try gaming if you want, if it doesn't go well.
Yeah, true. We can always just do that. My brother is like, you can eat at the desk. I don't give a fuck if you get lunch and then game there. It's totally fine. Um, YouTubers, just make sure you know that you guys can call and have conversations. I have the number right there on the screen. But if you call, we're going to have conversations based off of factual evidence and not your feelings. So just remember that. Just remember that in your bigoted hatred. All right. We will get ourselves started this morning. I only have one clip of the State of the Union and I put it way down here just to kind of go over, but I'm not going to play it right now because you either watched it or you didn't. But even if you didn't, you probably have, because it is the same thing that he has said, so I don't know, since he started campaigning, to be honest. But as currently as his second term as president, he says it in every cabinet meeting. He says it at every speech, regardless of what the event is supposed to be about. He says it at every rally that he goes to. This is just greatest hits. Everything's awesome. Why the fuck aren't you guys understanding that it's awesome? You guys are crazy for not thinking so, kind of a thing. That's just kind of where we are. Yeah, I'm sure, Brady Horror. I am sure the Democrats have lost the 2028 election for not standing for the USA hockey team. I'm sure, which actually they did stand for them, so I don't know what you're talking about. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
500 on diesel, 1,800 miles a night.
Okay. Actually, I think the U.S. hockey team is actually one of the few things they did stand for, if I remember right. But
It was the hockey, and I believe the two older vets. I don't think they stood for, but I could be 100% mistaken.
they stood for I think they stood for all of them. The man who had his legs shredded, they stood for him as well. I remember seeing that because that was near the end.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do our best to rage bait the fuck out of MAGA this morning, I guess. That's how we're feeling with one of their
Look,
favorite
it's
people.
easy to do. Every single Trump supporter on YouTube is a mediocre white man who wishes they could have something better to do with their lives. So instead, they decide to harassify women on the internet.
It's true. Okay, well. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
Hey, what's up? I voted for Trump.
Okay, can I get your age and state, please?
30, Minnesota.
All right, why are you still supporting Trump?
I just really like him. I think he's done a lot of good things.
Name one good thing and we can talk about it.
I think he's brought a lot of peace to a lot of different people.
Peace to what people?
Well, like with the Abraham Accords and stuff like that, and all of these.
We're talking about his second term, not his first term. What has he done in his second term that you are currently supporting?
Well, I mean, he's continued on working on them, and the same nations. As a president, speaking to other foreign leaders and stuff like that, he's brought a lot of peace through strength.
Where?
And just you could pretty much name just about any country, and they've kind of changed some of their ways of doing things.
Oh yeah. How's Ukraine going?
Not very good.
Oh, okay.
Not
so
very
where's
good
the
at all.
peace? You said I could name any country. I just did. Where's the peace?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's trying really hard to bring peace
Oh,
there. or
I
whatever.
don't.
And,
Do you
he
give
said-
out participation trophies? Because I damn sure don't.
No, not really.
And what is it? And even then, I'll grant you he's trying. How is he trying? Explain to me how he's trying. What has he done to try?
Well, with Ukraine specifically, he's assigned people to be like middlemen, negotiators, and
Who?
reach out and kind of keep on everybody to continue to work towards it or whatever. And then
Who?
maybe
Who is he assigned?
Well, I mean, members of his Rubio, and he's sending over.
Oh no, that's just
there's a
Rubio's
number of
job.
people, but- right, I know, but I mean,
Has Rubio gone to the Ukraine?
I believe he has. I'm not exactly sure.
But what has he proposed to bring this to an end?
Well, I know this sounds crazy, but selling weapons to Europe for them to provide for the Ukraine.
Oh, but we were already, yeah, actually, all he did was add a middleman in the middle of that when we were just giving them weapons ourselves. Now we're deciding we're going to make a profit off of it by selling it to
the problem was, though, we were giving weapons too late. Weapons could have been given earlier, and that was a huge problem. Was the weapons were being given to them, but a lot of them were just coming in too late.
Oh, so then why didn't he change that and just give them weapons instead of making a middleman where Europe has to buy the weapons to then give?
Well, because that wasn't very popular with, the nation as a whole wasn't in favor of,
Oh, no, that was mostly just
just
Republicans,
giving.
actually.
Well, there was a lot of voters that weren't too enthused about, for example, the fires that happened in Hawaii, and
Okay.
they weren't getting very much support. Meanwhile, we were sending a bunch of money to Ukraine.
Can
So
we
just for the
walk and
pure
chew
fact-
gum at the same time?
Well, we can, but we weren't, and we didn't.
Why?
So,
Yeah, who do we blame for that?
well, Biden was president during
Oh,
those
is
fires.
Biden in control of the money?
Well, I mean, he could have done more. I mean, there's no
Like
doubt
what?
about
What
it.
could he have done more to fund the fires in Hawaii? What could he have done?
I'm sure he could have come up with a number of ideas. I'm sure anybody
Do
could.
you know who holds the power of the purse?
Well, okay, so
No, I'm asking you.
the
Who
thing-
holds the power of the purse?
I don't know. Is it the Senate? I don't know.
It would be the Congress, which the Senate is a part of. The Senate, you have 100 people in there, and then you have 435 in the House of Representatives, which is also a part of the Congress. They would be the people who would decide how much funding and whether they need to come into session to acquire more funding for FEMA, which is the organization under DHS that would help with natural disasters like the fires in Hawaii or the hurricanes in North Carolina. It wouldn't be
Okay, well,
Biden.
that's-
It would be Congress.
Okay, that's fair enough. But
Sure.
the argument could be made that Congress wasn't doing anything about
Absolutely.
it, and they could
I
have
agree with
been
you.
incentivized.
So
a bit.
specifically with the hurricanes in North Carolina, which was also under the Biden administration, that was Mike Johnson actually refused to come into session for Congress when FEMA said, hey, we need more money to help take care of these people down here. And Mike Johnson said, nah.
Well, I myself believe that there's massive problems within Congress and within all branches of
Did
the
you vote
government.
down
honestly, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Did you vote down ballot?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you vote for Republicans, Democrats, a mixture of both down ballot?
I just voted Republicans.
Oh, okay. So then maybe you should look into who votes yes or no on certain funding as the people
Right.
you voted for. Because Mike Johnson's a Republican. Mike Johnson's on the side of Donald Trump. Mike Johnson is the one who refused to bring up coming into session for more FEMA funding.
Right, and I'm sure the FEMA funding wasn't the only reason why he didn't. I'm sure that wasn't the reason why he didn't. I'm sure it was a
They can
colluded.
just come into session
glob
for
on
that.
that.
You know that, right? Like he can literally just call a session to only bring up a vote on FEMA funding. He can do that.
Okay, well, so okay, I guess you've got me on that point there or whatever. But I mean,
It's not about getting you.
and-
I just want to be clear. I'm not trying to like gotcha or get you. My goal in these conversations, why I say with factual evidence, is for people to be informed. Because a lot of people want to blame presidents are really a figurehead. This is actually the first time in an administration, I would say honestly, other than like FDR way back when, where this executive power is being used to such a fucking degree that he is able to just swap around funding however he wants to because Congress is just letting him. Like Congress is the one that is in charge of funding. So if we're going to put blame, we need to understand who we're voting for and what they are then voting for. I just want people to be informed on that. And if you don't know that as you're voting for Republicans, that's a fucking problem.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I understand that there's going to be. It's going to be problematic all sorts of ways, right? But honestly, with myself personally or whatever, it's just. I like Trump a lot or whatever, and I thought during his first presidency, you could see that so many people, I mean, like they are right now or whatever, fighting him on every stance, and the argument is there to be made that he could do something good, and a lot of people won't give him any credit for
Like
it,
what?
right? I mean,
That's
he
the
could.
problem. Because what he campaigned on is not anything that's going to be beneficial for the American people in the way
Well,
in which he's
what
doing
about
it.
what about the $1,776 bonus checks that he gave to all military?
Sure. Do you know where that came from?
I believe it was from maybe tariff revenue or
That's what
something.
he's saying, but that is actually incorrect. Where that is coming from is from the VA housing budget. So it's already, this was money that was approved by Congress for service members. Okay, so not veterans technically, but for current serving members for housing. Now, that housing money that he then changed over to become a bonus, what happens is if it was used for housing, it was tax free. Now that he has changed it and made it a bonus, they are now going to have to pay tax on that money. I don't have a problem with giving them money, but you took away money from their funding. You didn't use tariff money to give them extra funding.
Okay, sure. And you've got proof that it was that. So do you think that it could have just been some, fudge the numbers a little bit, borrow it from here, pay it back out of there, some stuff like that?
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it was. And that's where my issue is that he lies about it, right? My issue is that he tells a story that says they were saying we're going to do 1775 and I said, "Why not add $1 to make it 1776?" Like it's dumb. Like just be honest that you said I would rather see our servicemen and women get a bonus that they are well deserving of having because they don't get paid enough. We know this. They don't get good enough benefits for what the fuck they do for our country. I'm a daughter of
I,
two veterans, so
yeah,
I
I
totally
agree.
understand that. But then be honest that you moved around money from the housing budget and that we plan to replenish that, but right now we're going to use it for bonuses. Just be honest. He lies about everything.
This isn't the first time he's done
Okay,
this
yeah,
either.
I mean, I'm not aware of that stuff or whatever. The way I've looked at it is it's just a net plus that these servicemen and women have received this bonus that they,
That they now have to
like you
pay a
said.
tax on instead of having money for housing.
Well, I don't think they would have gotten it otherwise.
They would
Like if
have for their housing.
Highest pay raise under the
I
Biden
don't know.
admin.
I think
But they're
this
not
is a
well,
good
and
point.
like no,
You're
my
bringing up a good point here
sure.
because um, there's like my father's a veteran. I've got a lot of veterans in my family.
Mhm.
There's always been all of this talk about how the VA was so hard to go to and all of this. And now I don't have all the stats, or I'm not researching it as we speak or anything like that. I'm not looking at any numbers. But as far as I understand, the VA has improved quite a lot under Donald Trump.
Where
That he's
right, and you said I don't have any stats for that, so where are you getting that from?
just from personal experience, like my dad, finally got approved after he served in Vietnam, and
Thanks,
he
PACT Act.
wasn't ever given his disability. They rated, I guess, like 10%, 20%, 30% disabled, whatever,
Sure.
and then they give you
That was
they give
probably
you
the
a month.
PACT Act, which was under Biden. That probably wasn't Donald Trump. That was probably the PACT Act. It probably just took a while because unfortunately legislation is slow. What I would also say is I just read a headline recently that the VA is going to take, let's say you have a 100% disability through the VA. If you have a medication prescribed to you through the VA where that medication then is helping you to a point, they will then start decreasing your percentage. So if your medication deems you that you're now at a 60% disability instead of 100% disability, that doesn't seem to be something that I would approve of to help veterans.
Okay, that's a good point or whatever. So maybe because I did ask you, or I did mention that you. Well, I guess you asked me if I was happy with stuff that he's done, and I am, and I kind of struggle to cite it all or have it well versed or anything like that. But I was wondering if there's anything that you think that he's done that's good at all, because
In
I
his
mean I
second
could.
term?
Oh yeah, yeah. And also I could go on and I could find something to agree with on you, and I could kind of point out things that I don't like in the second term that I was kind of thinking were going to be different,
Mhm.
which would be just that I thought that when JD Vance was, I think it was on Joe Rogan or something, and I don't know, I thought maybe RFK Jr. had mentioned it too. I thought that they were going to go after these pharmaceutical advertisements,
Sure.
across TV and
Right.
social media, all that stuff or whatever. So I'm kind of bummed that that's just been kind of a
Well, they've completely gone
kind of a
against it.
squash.
They've now reversed their policy on food dyes, which they touted as one of their big Maha things. They're pushing the use of glyphosate, which is actually ridiculous because that is what RFK Jr. kind of made his career as an EPA lawyer on, is by suing Monsanto for the use of glyphosate on food. And now the Trump administration is like, hey, we're going to use glyphosate on food. So there's that one. They're also now backing off on going against mRNA, which I don't have an issue with because we have the studies on that. But you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you in that stance that everything that they purported for Maha, they're now backing off on.
And you brought it up too yourself about the Ukraine thing.
Sure.
That I did have a strong belief that he was going to have that resolved, but I can understand how the way that he could resolve it consists of a land trade, and I can understand why Ukraine wouldn't want to do that. Now I wouldn't want Ukraine to do that either.
Yeah. I don't believe in appeasement. It didn't work in World War II. It's not going to work now. My issue is that the only thing we've gotten out of Trump in a way to end it is to bully Zelensky around and say, like, you shouldn't have your people fighting anymore, and Russia's losing people too. Like, well, Russia shouldn't be invading other people's borders, maybe. But we don't push
Yeah, and I'm
back
kind of
hard
mad
enough
too
on
because
Putin.
in 1991, in leading up to 1991, we negotiated with Ukraine that we were going to confiscate their nuclear powers. In the trade agreement
Mhm.
was that we would support them if they were ever invaded,
Yeah,
or if anything, you know what I mean? So
the Budapest Memorandum. So what that was is that when they were under USSR control, they had nuclear material or nuclear weapons that belonged to the USSR. So under the Budapest Memorandum, they had to give that material and those weapons back to the USSR under the condition that Europe and us as the US would support them in case anybody decided to come. And which is crazy because Russia also signed that and then was like, also fuck off. But in case anybody
right,
comes and
yeah,
invades them. And so now we're
the
in this
argument is
position.
America's like, well, they broke the treaty first, or they broke the agreement first, so we don't have to honor it or whatever.
I
But
mean,
I do
I
think that that's pretty
appreciate that this is
shady.
one of the first times that the U.S. is actually trying to stick to a treaty and a memorandum because we're not good at holding our word. So,
Mm. Yeah, but yeah, that's definitely a thing that I wish was a little bit better. I don't understand why all of NATO and all of Europe and America can't just all join a pact together, a new one, just specific to what's going on right now, and give Putin an ultimatum. Look, if you don't stop and withdraw all your troops out of Ukraine right now, we're all going to full on attack you. Why can't they give them the ultimatum that Russia will be split up into tiny pieces and distributed between the rest of the world if they don't get out of Ukraine and
I mean, like,
stop screwing around?
because we don't want to have World War, right? That's it. We don't want to engage in physical boots on the ground war with Putin. It's just not something that we really, really want to do. And I can totally understand why we don't want to do that. But we also know that like the Russian military is depleted. They've been using stuff from like the 70s and 80s. Like it's not great. They've had to conscript from like prisons. Like they are losing people at a high rate. And I would say I would want to push back a little more. I'm not saying boots on the ground and things like that. I just think that there should be support, and I don't think we're getting it from this administration in the way that we should be.
Yeah, I think the only feasible way that an attack could be made from everyone against Russia would be they would have to strike Russia so fierce and so hard that Russia would have no opportunity to retaliate one bit. And that wouldn't be good either because, the Russians are humans too or whatever. I just wish everybody would quit fighting so much and try to help
Well, I
everybody
mean,
more
yeah, if
so.
we didn't have, dictatorship oligarchs, that would be wonderful. I'm legitimately trying to think. His second term, I don't have a lot for Trump that I can give him accolades for. Like I truly don't. Most of the stuff that he's done has been to hurt humans, and I just don't agree with that.
Well, couldn't you think that, okay, I don't know your stance on this stuff or whatever. This is honestly the first time I ever came across your live or
Mhm.
anything like that. So
I
I don't,
appreciate you being civil. Most people like to come and yell at me, so.
no, 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 no. I've been going through all these live chats and I've been either trying to give like a compliment or just not saying anything at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
that's
see so
fair.
many people in the comments all the time that
No,
just
don't
like
engage in the brain
like
rot
they
on
must
either side.
it's like they must just join these chats just to hurl insults
Mhm.
at other people.
Mhm.
And I think that's terrible, and I think less of that's better. So I've just been trying to reasonably talk to people and just kind of be like, well, can't we find something we can agree on and try to, I think that would be a lot better than time spent insulting each other. Um, So one thing that I would think another reason why what Trump has done that I think is good is I think he's put a major halt to getting quite out of hand cost to not only taxpayers but cost to society as we know it with the the transitioning gender affirming care stuff
How does
or
that
whatever.
affect the average American in any way?
Well, because it affects a percentage of our population
Yeah, what's that
of our
percentage?
country. Well, it's a percentage, and that's all that really
It's
matters.
actually not. It's actually
Because,
less than 8%. So it's not even.
well,
It's
okay,
less than
so
8%.
I understand what you're trying to point out is a small percentage of the
Is that
people that are
my
like, let's
friend's
say,
my friend's
that are considered
identity?
trans.
My friend's identity does nothing to me being able to
Well,
pay
but the
bills.
ideology of it, and so if
It's not an
in my
ideology.
defense,
But here's the thing.
well,
I
I
don't
believe it.
usually. Okay, I'm going to try and go down this road with you tentatively, but I'm going to warn you that the issue and the reason I don't discuss the existence of my friends is because one, there's no discussion. They exist regardless of your personal fifis on it. And two, I guarantee you've not read anything in regards to the science behind it. And if you have, you probably disregard it because you say it was funded by some sort of liberal source. So that's where the issue lies. It just becomes what you feel. Nobody's saying you have to do it for you. Nobody's saying you have to do it for your family. But this is what the doctors recommend for certain groups of people. And it's not just trans people. Cis people also get gender reassignment surgery. Cis people also get gender affirming care. These are all things that happen across the board. So I don't know why we care about less than 1% of the population living their lives.
Well, I mean, you would agree that there have been studies and clinical reports and these papers put out that are totally inaccurate and
No,
false misinformation.
no.
You don't think that there's any
Name me
no
one that's been
studies?
debunked.
Well, I can't do that right now just off the top of my head.
I've
I'm
never seen
sorry. I
one.
wish
I
I
read
could.
these studies. I've never seen one.
Okay. Okay, but so the my problem I have with it is it's like the meaning of a language that we've had around for as long as we know it, you know, humanity almost,
Mhm.
like the English came out, whatever. It's always been a male and a female,
No, that's sex,
and
not
it's
gender.
always been specific.
No.
But it,
Do you know what? No.
but
Do you know what
okay, so
woman?
wait,
Do you know
can I
what?
just can I explain a
No,
little bit
because
of
you're
the
already
problem?
wrong. Do you know what woman originally was used for in its terminology in English?
No, I'm not sure.
It was wife man because you were not considered a woman until you were married. You were a girl until you were married. And then you were considered a woman because you were the wife of a man. So the usage of our words has changed, right? Like I can use the word and say something is cool. I could be talking about its temperature, or I could be talking about the fact that it's awesome or whatever other word you want to use. Like language is made up and the
Complicated,
usage
right?
and the usage of language and words changes. Now, if you're talking about male and female, you are talking about sex and biology. Cool, fair. Nobody has any issue with that. If you're talking about gender, you're already wrong by saying, and you haven't said this, I'm just saying people are already wrong by saying two, because if you have, I would definitely consider a girl not a woman and a boy not a man. So you already have four.
Okay, and don't get me wrong, like I am quite confused about some things. Like I don't even really know exactly what anxiety really is, for example, let alone like this whole gender, sex, whatever, la. But
Sure.
I guess where my fear is that like it to me it seems like it's a fundamental part of our language and our understanding and our morals and everything
Our
as
morals.
it's been like I don't know how I don't mean to like tiptoe around it or whatever, but I like for example like the Bible, and the Bible has always been descriptive and
Mm-hmm.
very it's been very
And the
clear that
Bible,
a
right.
male and then a female.
Well,
And
no,
so my fear is,
The Bible says man and woman, but then do you know about eunuchs?
well, not super very much, but
Okay.
my point is, I
Well,
guess,
no.
is
I'm
just that.
saying you need to read your scripture on eunuchs because it talks about the fact that some were born eunuchs, some were made eunuchs. Also, if you are reading from the Old Testament is going to be based off of the Jewish Talmud, and the Jewish religion believes in anywhere of up to 6 to 8 genders. The indigenous
Oh,
people
really?
have always
Interesting.
had multiple genders, such as two-spirit. Like bringing up the Bible as a source isn't good for me as somebody who also has read the Bible and talked about the Bible, because of the fact that it hasn't been around since the dawn of time. But culturally, indigenous societies, people from the dawn of time, have had iterations of multi-gender societies.
Okay. So, and I don't mean to bring up specifically the Bible as a source either.
Sure.
It's just part of the only way I can like describe the like fear that I have, right? And my fear goes down to just that because from what my understanding, what I see about it is like for the first time ever in the last, since all this started happening with the gender and the sex and the gender
The rhetoric
identity.
around it has increased. I will give you that. But trans people have been around
Well,
since the dawn of humans. The rhetoric around it changed right around 2015 when we could no longer talk about gay people because they're now allowed to marry. My issue is that the same rhetoric that gets used for, I'm not saying by you, but the same rhetoric that gets used around the trans community has gotten used around multiple communities since the dawn of time. It was the savagery of the indigenous people and we cannot integrate them into our society. Then that turned to the savagery of Black men in the slave community. We cannot bring them into our society. How do we civilize them? It moved on to, we have a lot of Islamophobia doing the same thing. It went into the gay community doing the same thing. Now it's the trans community.
well, and see, part of the struggle I'm having is like getting to like describe the fear or whatever, and it just to me it seems like for all of humanity, we knew like this and that were two things, like calling a spade or a whatever. And it just, to me, from during my life and seeing this happen with what you're talking about how it used to be gays and then the gays got their marriage rights and stuff like that. And then it went on, just like how you were just saying. I've seen this kind of going in this projection, and all of a sudden it feels like from what everybody has been taught and known and had for the beginning of time, all of a sudden is confusing, and then there's all these people
It's
saying
confusing
that that's
to you,
wrong.
though. But
And
here's the thing. It's confusing to you, and I understand that. It is confusing to you because it's not something, I see it like it. It's confusing to you because it's not something you've read enough about, learned enough about, or are comfortable with, and that's fine. Again, nobody is asking you to take it on and be a transgender person. I'm not a transgender person. Olive is not a transgender person. But what I am saying is that I have no issue with people who are transgender doing the things that they need to do for themselves to live a happy, productive life. And their happy, productive life doesn't have an effect negatively on mine.
yeah, but so long as, right? Like that's always a clause. There's got to be a red line. Like
What's the
that's
red line,
all
though?
fine
Because
and dandy.
again,
They
this
can
is
do
the
that.
same rhetoric as
Okay, well,
saying that the LGBTQ are coming after your children. It's that same rhetoric that has
I
been
can explain
used
it. I can
for
explain. I
centuries.
can explain what I'm talking about. That fine line. Yeah, and I can explain it for just what it kind of goes into that area. But yeah, it is
I know
like
it
that.
does.
It's like, but it's like when I very first ever had my first sex education, it was in 5th grade.
Okay.
And I remember it was so funny because it was all the boys were in one room and all the girls were in a different room, and we were getting our different things. And the teacher was going over like menstruating and stuff like that or whatever. Sure. And this Jeremiah guy in my grade, he like raised his hand and they're like, "What?" And he's like, "So can we like bleed to death when we get our period and stuff?" And like, oh man, that was so funny.
Well, to be fair, you're in 5th grade. You've never heard about it before. It's something that men need to learn. Honestly, there's still men now who don't know a lot about menstruation or enough about it, right? I am surprised you guys were separated. My 5th grade.
Did you check the Blue app?
Was in the middle.
Okay, I wasn't
Oh,
sure.
really? You were like, see, I don't know. So my fear is that
Amber,
like
I did
since then, that was a long time ago when I was in 5th grade. We got in 5th grade. I've heard since then a lot of people talking about sex education being taught younger and younger and younger in some schools, going over it briefly, like even in kindergarten. Now, I don't know if that's an exaggeration, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't true. You know what I mean?
Not.
And I do listen to a lot of like Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan.
That's where the problem lies.
Well,
because they don't.
To me, it's not a problem.
It is because Jordan Peterson doesn't understand what it means to talk about the LGBTQ in schools and what comprehensive learning is going to be, right? All we mean when we talk about that is going to be in regards to the large umbrella that is the LGBTQ, which is saying that when a child, a 5-year-old, draws a family tree, it's not always going to be mom and dad. Sometimes it's mom and mom. Sometimes it's my mom is now my dad. Sometimes it's my grandma raised me.
Well,
That's it. That's it. That's
okay,
all.
well, but in his defense, though, just because maybe on a certain topic or something that one of his opinions and beliefs that he vocalizes,
Mhm.
just because of that doesn't take away from
It
good
does.
that he
It
does.
does if it is
No,
unfactual.
it
It does if it's not factual. Then it's just his feelings. I don't deal in feelings. I deal in facts.
But my point is,
Your point is you're defending Jordan Peterson. This is y'all just don't, you guys don't read enough about this. This is why I said I don't talk about this topic. I don't talk about it anyway because it's harmful to my fucking friends. And so friends, I apologize. If you want to let me know in the comments or in the TikTok or in the Discord, if you never want me to talk about it again, I took a big fucking break from talking about that topic at all. And we're not going to do a domino effect on YouTube where you're calling and talking about that topic. You guys have not read about this. You guys have not read about it at all. And even if you had read about it, you say it's some sort of liberal cabal that is paying for it to be that way. And it's not. It's why I don't fucking do it. W Olive for the Swan. You don't understand what you're talking about. I promise you that you don't. I promise you that Jordan Peterson doesn't.
The other thing too, and I think people don't understand, like when he was talking about Vietnam and his dad and whatever, right? Thanks, Joe Biden, for the PACT Act.
Yeah, thank you.
The PACT Act alone opened the door to Vietnam veterans and people who experienced Agent Orange and also the burn pits while we were in the Middle East, number one. Number two, at least he admitted he had transphobia. I mean, he said, I have a fear.
He has a fear. He couldn't quite, the fear is teaching children about it. But the problem is that they said that about the LGBTQ as well. And guess what?
Yep.
Nobody talked about it when I was growing up. I'm still gay. They're still going to be trans. All you're trying to do is push these children into the closet where they are then harmed and shamed for who they are. We're not doing that again. We're not going back.
There was that child during Trump's State of the Union who they were claiming that teachers socially transitioned that child. Okay. I need people to understand something. As someone who has taught in the state of Virginia, after that happened, Glenn Youngkin required teachers to out their students to their parents.
And that's also not
Do you know how right, 100%. But because of that rhetoric, you put more children in harm with that happening because you are putting those children in a difficult situation. You are putting those children in an abusive household.
Right. Blue fact checked this. The parents found out that this child was using the boys' restroom. There's really not a lot of information other than that. We don't know if it's because they themselves saw themselves as trans and went to that bathroom. We don't know. But they were using that bathroom. As far as I know, I didn't get as much information as Blue did. But they were using that bathroom. The parents found out. The child had a psychotic break after the parents found out. Why? We can only speculate what happened in that household after the parents found out. And then that child was sent to a facility. And that child did not look happy. But again, less than 1% of the population isn't helping you pay your bills. It's not helping you get a better job. It's not helping you to buy a house. So I don't know why that fear trumps everything else that Donald Trump is doing to ruin the United States of America. He has got you guys so brainwashed in your isms and your phobias. It is so frustrating. You are so fucking brainwashed to hate people that you don't understand or hate people because you think it'll give you a leg up. It won't. Getting rid of immigrants isn't going to help you be better. Forcing trans children into the closet and trans people back into the closet isn't going to make your life any better. What, you want people to be as miserable as you? What happened to pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Do better. Interesting. Well, there's that, guys. As we are sitting here, 152 people at 10:40, we are at 38,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. Let's get that up to that 50K before we hit 11 o'clock. You guys are rocking on that. I appreciate you guys so much. I will open the phone lines back up, but again, I'm not going to keep discussing that because I guarantee you all it's going to devolve into is people who actually are less civil and know less than that guy. So we're not going to do that. But I am going to bait you a little bit with your favorite woman in the world.
Nancy Pelosi.
This is her response. This is her first of two clips I have of her response to the State of the Union last night.
Joining us. You have sat through a great number of State of the Union addresses, some of them behind the president. What was your reaction to what you heard this evening?
Well, first let me say that I think that Governor Spanberger did a remarkable job just insisting on the truth, which is what we have to do when we're dealing with this president. I thought the speech was lazy. It's one thing to acknowledge patriotism and people getting well and everything when you have absolutely nothing to do with their courage or the rest, but you spend an hour and a half doing it. What is the state of the nation? Okay.
Joining us.
Which is true. Now, granted, was he giving out medals and awards and things like that to people who deserve them? Absolutely. Nobody here would have a problem with that. The problem is that the entirety of the night was that, instead of like what Nancy Pelosi is saying, which is, what's the state of the nation right now? Like, what are you doing for the nation? What is it's kind of a chance, especially the first one is kind of a chance for you to say like what you plan to do in the future. But instead what you get is, it's fine. Why are you complaining? And that's ridiculous from a president in his first term like that. But here is Nancy Pelosi one more time about Medicare and Medicaid, because he didn't really address healthcare other than to say Democrats are doing bad on your healthcare. He didn't address it, and he's not fixing it, and that's a big deal for the midterms.
But here's the thing. He started off with BBB, his big, beautiful bill, which is, of course, disgusting and ugly. He talks about protecting Medicare. He took $500 billion out of, $500 billion out of Medicare in his BBB, and $1 trillion out of Medicaid, which is a health benefit for many seniors in our country as well. What was sad for me was to see when he talked about how many people he took off of SNAP food program for children and the rest, that the Republicans just stood up and cheered, we're not feeding the kids, how about that, that's great. And all of that to give a tax cut to the richest people in America. Food out of the mouths of babies, people off health, millions of people off of Medicaid to give it to them. But here's the thing.
To give it to the rich. And that's the point. It's like once the OBBBA passed, we stopped talking about it. But even in his rhetoric last night, saying that we raised, this is a term that I heard from Brooke Rollins, who was in charge of the USDA. So I think that's where he got it from, is that they raised 2.4 million Americans off of SNAP. They didn't raise anybody off of SNAP. These people just now can't afford food. You kicked them off of SNAP. That's what you did. You kicked them off because you needed that money.
What?
To
You're
pay
telling
for
me that
billionaires.
the president of the United States doesn't care for its average American citizen because he's an absolute piece of shit and can't run a country to save his fucking life?
I'm shocked.
Are you telling me a corrupt businessman who doesn't know how to run any businesses that he's owned, has barely made his money on his own because he had a small loan of $1 million from his own daddy, can't do anything to suffice himself and or his citizens of his country?
I did want to address a comment in the TikTok chat. The only thing I will say is somebody said the hockey goalie, Pup Ido, which I see you always in here, friend. I appreciate your support. The hockey goalie did what his job was, be a goalie. That's not worth the highest medal for a civilian. To be fair, that medal means nothing. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't care what president it is. This is not just a Trump thing, YouTube, so don't get mad. This is Biden, this is Clinton, this is Obama, this is Bush. Those medals don't fucking mean anything anymore. He is not the first Olympian or athlete to receive one. He probably won't be the last. We kind of just give them out. We're like, meh. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It should, right? Like, we've had people like Katherine Johnson get them. We've had really, really amazing people get them. But it doesn't mean that much. My issue with the U.S. hockey team, I wasn't going to rant about it, but very frustrating what PodSave said this morning. But I can get into that in a minute. Thank you for calling the stream. State, who'd you vote for?
Hey, I just wanted to say, it's one thing to point out a problem and provide a solution, but it's a whole nother thing to point out a problem and...
Thanks for tone policing. Anyway, men. PodSave was saying how it's not fair to the hockey team because so here's the thing. I agree with them in the sense that it's not fair to the hockey team in the sense of, this is specific. I want you guys to listen before I freak out. Taking a phone call from the president or even taking an invite from the president, not necessarily something that I put blame on them for. You do have the decision to not go. And as far as I know, I think it was 4 or 5 players chose not to go. The entire women's hockey team chose not to go, right? Taking the phone call in and of itself, I actually don't have a problem with. If the president of the United States calls you as a hockey player or as a athlete, sure, you might take that call. My issue is that PodSave gave them too much credit in not having the autonomy to decline. I think that's where the issue was. They could absolutely decline. John Lovett for being one of the only people to push back on that. But you didn't push back hard enough, which is the fact that the biggest issue surrounding them isn't the fact that they went, isn't the fact that they accepted the invitation. It's the fact that they laughed when Donald Trump said, we have to invite the women's team. That's where the fucking thing is. And so I was very frustrated with PodSave, a bunch of liberals, for not addressing that was the real issue. Let's not pretend that that's not why the fuck we're mad. And as a woman, I'll stick to my hockey men who would never ever do that to me, which is Shane Hollander, Ilya Rozanov, Scott Hunter, and Kip from Heated Rivalry, because they would fucking never. Anyway, we keep going. So now we got a couple of responses. Again, this is the Clown News Network. I'm so sorry, YouTube, for all the rage bait this morning. But, they have a little round table. So you've got Scott Jennings, and you've got, oh, God, why did I forget? It's Van Jones, right? Yeah, Van Jones.
Yes.
I think it's Vance in my head, but it's not. It's Van. Van Jones at the table with a bunch of people. They always do this. They sit a bunch of people down. They have them listen to the State of the Union, and they ask them for their response afterwards.
I called JD DJ yesterday, so.
DJ Vance, please don't make... he could make mixes out of couch sounds. It would be great.
He sure could.
But this is one of the reactions from one of the people that they asked about.
I didn't like the speech because he did not talk about what he was doing to make our lives better. As Governor Spangenberger said, is the president working to make our lives better? No. James Carville said, it's the economy. And it still is the economy. And he's not talking about that at all.
Wait, what about the Trump accounts? What about the tax cuts? Did that move you at all? Did that make you feel like he's on your side?
No. No, it did not.
Why not?
He talked about the health care plan. Where is his health care plan? People's health insurance premiums are going up. What is he doing for that? What is he doing for our seniors?
And just like
I didn't like
concepts of a plan, remember? Where's the healthcare plan? It's going to be better than Obamacare. What's the healthcare plan? Is it just the 53 drugs that he has listed on Trump RX that are just coupons through AstraZeneca that already exist? Is that it? That's it? That's all he got? Ooh, that's rough. Guys, again, as we're sitting here, I have 93 left in my goal. I have not shouted out. I forgot to. W. Amber's for the 7. They wanted somebody in the chat muted who was probably being an asshole. I trust Amber on that. So we muted them for the day. W. Amber for that 7. I appreciate you, Bo. I do have 9-3 left in my goal. Make sure you're tipping your content creators. I am here Tuesday through Friday. I'm supposed to be doing Mondays. I didn't get a chance to on this Monday, and I honestly just said fuck it last Monday, so I didn't. But we'll definitely get to this upcoming Monday. Hold on. I think I need to sneeze, which means I'm not going to be able to. Nope.
Watermelon.
Motherfucker. What does that mean? I've heard you guys do that a couple times, but
Apparently it's supposed to stop people from...
Oh, stop them from sneezing?
Yeah.
Rude. And then we have this guy. I can feel it. It's like right here.
Look up.
Oh
There you
my
go.
God. All right. We have this gentleman also.
Also, YouTube Tube doesn't understand that I'm sitting on the panel with you on the stream. So they're like, second caller? Who's this?
Oh no. Yeah, they can't see you anymore because I don't screen share anymore now. So it's
They have to pay to see me.
It's true. Spicy links in bio.
In BIO.
The thing that I missed the most was a focus on the economy and looking forward. And Supreme Court struck the tariffs down, and he's going for another round of tariffs. And I also think that's the wrong direction. Tariffs cost our company a lot of money. Our costs are up, and we need to control our costs. And, without, raising rates, we can't give raises to our employees. We can't help them. So I'm stuck in that kind of vicious cycle of raise the rates, prices go up, raise the rates, and, how do we continue that?
So he didn't help you at all on the tariff stuff at all?
The thing that I
So yeah, the thing is like he didn't answer questions about the fact that, I will say this again, he is doing what Joe Biden did. And Obama's even done this, where it's like the economy's doing great. And people are like, fucking where? Like, we are not feeling it. So where? And so that's where the fucking problem is. So a lot of the clips I have today are basically just responses. A little bit. We have a couple things on the economy later down here too. And then I have this wonderful Mehdi Hassan explainer on the SAVE Act that I'll get to. I need to fucking sneeze again. This is driving me crazy. But this is a Buttigieg, his response to the State of the Union. Again, the problem is that Donald Trump is saying everything is great, and he's just telling you to believe it when people aren't fucking feeling that at all. Oops, sorry. I had the phone line off. I apologize for that. Jesus.
The Dow.
The Dow right now. It's over 50,000. Okay.
There are some other things that the president talked about that would address affordability, even if the president said that it was kind of a Democratic invented issue, and also that Democrats started to begin with. They include the fact that taxes on tips and taxes on overtime are going to be eliminated because of provisions from the bill that passed last year. He talked about the housing crisis and not banning Wall Street companies from buying up houses to rent to prevent people from being able to buy them. He talked about a measure, Trump RX, which would lower the cost of prescription drugs. I mean, he is acknowledging, in a way, even if he's saying that things are great, he is acknowledging that there's a lot more that can be done.
Yeah, but in every case, it's window dressing, right? The Trump RX thing, which is largely taking credit for kind of an existing coupon program, as I understand it, doesn't really balance out the fact that the Republicans are making so many Americans pay more on their health care premiums. The tax on tips thing, which I think is great to have that be tax-free, but it doesn't really outweigh the fact that so many Americans are facing the cost of the major tax cuts for billionaires. That was, of course, that and the corporate tax cuts. That's the main focus of his tax policy. The housing piece, I am also skeptical of these firms going in and buying houses. But for the other 99% of houses that aren't owned by those kinds of firms, we got to hear more of a clear plan. And one of the things that's making it hard to afford a mortgage right now is interest rates. Interest rates are pushed up by the enormous deficits created by the Trump tax cuts for the wealthiest and the corporations.
Before Buttigieg gets too far away from it, when it comes to homes, so he announced last night that he plans to sign an EO that will ban or restrict corporations from buying up homes. But the problem with that is, guys, I know that sounds great, right? That sounds fucking great. Who wouldn't approve of that? This is what I need you to critically think, MAGA. How does he effectuate that? Where's the teeth behind that? What's the consequences to that? Because the problem is, yeah, he also caused it, but exactly, Ari, executive orders do nothing on the private sector unless there's some sort of legislation appropriated with that through Congress. And Congress isn't pushing anything for requirements or restrictions on corporations. Hey guys, hey MAGA, hey friends, do you remember that he recently signed an EO where he was going to cap credit card interest rates at what was it, like 10%? I think it was supposed to be. So you couldn't have a credit card higher than that interest rate. Has anybody's interest rates gone down on their credit cards? Anybody? You know why it hasn't? Because his EOs mean not shit to the private sector. It means nothing. He cannot effectuate that. He cannot he cannot execute it. There's nothing he can do with that. It's just him in his room. I'm doing great. And everybody's like, yay, Mr. President, you can sign your name. We're so proud of you. Good job. It doesn't do anything. So again, this idea of putting restrictions on corporations buying up homes, fucking fantastic. Unless it goes through Congress, it doesn't mean anything. Capping new interest rates has no effect on the contracts you already signed. Well, that's not what Donald Trump said. That's the problem, right? That's the problem, is the EO means nothing. Biden couldn't. Did Biden claim to? Again, presidents are figureheads. They're not legislators. You need legislators to do this job, and seeing as he wants a Congress who's only to him, who does nothing, nothing's getting done. Yes, he also deregulated the housing market in the first place to allow corporations to buy it up, but he's going to simultaneously bring cost down for people to afford house, at the same time keep price up for people who own house. Sure. We'll let Buttigieg finish.
So in every case, he's offering a little droplet of something. Some things I might even agree with, but that little droplet goes into a bucket of things he has done to actively make the problem worse. And I think folks sitting at home...
There's some other...
Wish I could hear what the folks sitting at home... I hate the way they cut their clips. Like, cut their clip at the end of a sentence. A period. A period is the end of a sentence. My God. So let's get into some, real quick, some lying from Sean Duffy. Is it Sean Duffy? Yeah, it's Duffy. Sean Duffy, the chin-upping, airport suit-wearing Secretary of Transportation, which is funny. We go from former Secretary of Transportation to current Secretary of Transportation, from Buttigieg to Duffy. And they're going to do the thing that you guys always do, where you live in this perpetual state of June of 2022. You need to come back. It's 2026 now. Or at least just be honest about what December of 2024 looked like. But Sean Duffy's not going to do that. So here we go.
Just in point of fact, the president didn't inherit the worst inflation in U.S. history from the Biden administration. It was high during the Biden administration, but by the time Trump got it, it was down significantly, about 3%. He continued to call affordability a lie. Americans are still concerned about, I'm coming to you 1 second, about the cost of living on a daily basis. Yeah. I guess the question is, do you worry at all that President Trump is falling into the same trap on economic messaging as President Biden did, in terms of telling people not to believe their lying eyes when Biden was touting Bidenomics?
Yeah, no, I think the results are real for President Trump. So again, you have to remember, during the Biden era, those rates or inflation was up at north of 9%.
Sure.
President Trump has brought them down near the target of 2%.
They were 9% in June of 2022. Not when Biden left office. So Trump didn't bring it down from 9%. It was 3% when Biden left office. Come back to reality.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes. Sorry.
It is.
I'm having fun with
No,
your
please do.
YouTube chat.
They're mad in there, I can see.
Hold on, I'll have to clip this better.
It was 3%. It is 2.4% now. Is that down? Yes. What has he done to effectuate that?
Nothing.
We don't know. On top of the fact that this 2.4% we have has 2 months of inflation data that's missing. I don't know how many times we have to talk about that. When are the tubes not raged? All the time. They're just always mad. They're just always fucking mad. So again, June of 2022 is where you guys died, and you're haunting it. It needs to stop.
Everyone check Discord if you want to giggle. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your video.
You're fine. Yep. And guys, we are about to hit 11 o'clock. You guys hit that 56,000 likes, so more than halfway there. W-tappers, I appreciate you guys. So let's get that to 100,000 before we end today. Remember, I have 9-3 since somebody in the YouTube brought it up. I appreciate you. Thank you for the reminder over there on the YouTubes that I am just looking for handouts. I am $93 worth of handouts for the rest of the day. There's 130 of you over here on the TikTok. There are, how many viewers in here? Oh, yeah, around a little under 100, it looks like, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell from the studio version. But if you guys could send super chats over there, I could read your angry messages. I can read your supportive messages if you guys want me to read something. But even 132 of you over on the TikTok, I don't even need that many of you. 93 of you can send a dollar train.
Toot
And,
toot.
and we would be well beyond our goal. So yeah, I am looking for handouts. Hand out to me. Tip your content creator. I will tappity your ball sackety if you would like. Anyway, we continue.
Monica!
I'm sorry.
You had gas prices that were much higher when Joe Biden was in office, as opposed to Donald Trump today has driven the price of energy down. That is money in people's pocket. We all know that. And so I think to lean into those successes, I think the American people would agree with that. And to say that the State of the Union is strong, I think they agree with that as well. So I think you do have to talk about what you've done and why it's positive for the American people. I'll just tell you, Jake, when he looked over the Democrats and said, I mean, you're crazy. I mean, it's one thing. Listen, I've sat in there as a member of Congress. When I didn't agree with Barack Obama or Biden, I wouldn't stand up. But presidents say a lot of things that Americans like, that are American issues. And Democrats, in essence, sat down for all of them. You had
you guys literally did the same thing with Biden. I don't know why we're crying about that. That's literally something that each side does when they make it partisan, is they just sit down. And they don't do it. Let's get a nice little quick CNN fact check about some of the shit that Trump said last night. We've got this fact checking coming in about his claims.
A whole lot of nonsense there. The president claimed that tariffs are paid for by foreign countries. They simply are not. The tariff payments to the U.S. government are made by U.S. importers. They often pass on some or all of their costs to the final consumer. He claimed again that he secured $18 trillion in investments so far this term. That number is total fiction. The White House's own website uses, at this very moment, a figure of 9.7 million, and I found that even that 9.7 trillion figure is a wild exaggeration. And then this whole economic narrative that he inherited record inflation. He didn't. He inherited 3.0% inflation, just a bit above where it is now, 2.4%. And this claim he inherited a stagnant economy is now roaring like never before. Look, economic growth in 2025, mostly under Trump, was 2.2%, but it was 2.8% under President Biden in 2025. It was also higher than 2.2% in every other year of the Biden administration before.
He meant 2024. He said 2.8 in 2025. He definitely fucked up his words there.
2024. So he said most states have gas prices below $2.30. Not a single state yesterday had a gas price average, according to AAA, below $2.37.
We all saw this horrific murder. She was in Charlotte, North Carolina last year.
He is American by all accounts. He did not come in through open borders. This man's Facebook page says he was born in Charlotte. The paper has interviewed his American mother. So again, absolutely awful case. But attributing it to immigration, to the Biden administration's border policies, just completely baseless.
Right. Why are we tying something that is absolutely fucking awful and horrible that happened to this young woman? Why are we tying it to immigrants? Because that has nothing to do with it.
You're telling me the Trump administration lies?
What? You're kidding. W to the work wife. Speaking of, thank you for the dollar train. That brings me down to 92, guys. Go away, little ad. I had a message. Dollar Twain. Choo choo. Also, you're always so hot. # sorry, not sorry, husband.
Yeah.
I like a little cuckolding now and again.
Link in bio.
So let's get to this polling. Can you guess who it is? Can anybody guess who our favorite little pollster is?
Yeah, Floor.
On his espresso, Red Bull, whatever. We don't have a chair.
I want to know what he drinks every single day.
Fucking rainbow shit or something.
Monty, please get a train whistle. I swear you'll get more
Just loud as fuck.
She might have to fight her kids over that.
I might have to get 3 train whistles. I'll add it to my Amazon wish list. It's fine.
Someone's gonna buy it.
They will.
Justin said add it to the wish list.
History is one thing, right? But the idea is, Donald Trump's a unique figure in American politics. He can do things that other people can't.
By the way, guys, can we get these little finger hearts filled out too? That would be great. I love you.
But if you look at our post-poll, right, after the State of the Union, I simply put don't see it for him. Why do I say that? Okay, view of Trump's speech to Congress, very positive. Among speech viewers who are more Republican than the electorate overall, this was actually the least well-received speech. We're talking about 38% of speech viewers who viewed the speech very positive, and that is lower than in 2025 when it was 44%, lower than in 2019 when it was 59%, lower than in 2018 when it was 48%, and lower than it was in 2017 when it was 57%. The bottom line is this. State of the Union addresses, simply put, do not move, traditionally speaking, the American electorate. And this Trump speech, especially so, is not likely to move things because, simply put, it was the least well-received one among speech viewers of any of the speeches that Donald John Trump has given to a joint session of Congress.
So this was of people who...
History is one thing, right?
Not good. It didn't come out good. And the thing is, what's even crazier about that is, like, most of the time, the people who fill out, like, the polling for their approval in regards to the State of the Union, a lot of it is actually the party that's in power, right? So, like, if a Democrat is the one who's the president who's giving the State of the Union, a lot of times the people who answer that are going to be Democrats because they watch, and the Republicans won't watch because they're just like, I don't want to listen to that bullshit, right? And it's the opposite on this side, where a Republican president is speaking. Most of the time the people who answer these polls are going to be Republican, whereas Democrats won't watch. So it's bad even among your own people in regards to the State of the Union. What does that even mean? They're just making up words now over there? Okay. Let's keep it going. Which one do I want to play? All right. I don't want to play the first one. I'll play the second one that I got because I don't know. Well, I don't know. TikTok don't give a fuck. Well, maybe. We'll find out. I'm sure we all saw Al Green's sign last night. Specifically said, Black people aren't apes. And this is in response to Donald Trump's truth, of a video that he found on Truth Social. So again, this wasn't a retruth. He literally took this video and also truthed it himself, where it was repeating election lies, but then near the end of the video, it had a clipped moment of the Obamas looking like apes. He never apologized for that because he doesn't apologize for anything. It's gross. Yeah, Iran, gradual decay. I'm here. I haven't even talked about Iran yet, and you're mad about my R's. I'm so sorry that you can't roll your tongue. Your wife must be so disappointed. Again, so Al Green had this sign that he had held up. Baby back bitch Markwayne Mullin decided he was going to try and take it because he's a big bitch. So here's that. Him trying to take it. He's very mad. He's very angry about freedom of speech. He's so mad. It's interesting. And then Al Green gets escorted out of the State of the Union. So I have his response. We're going to listen to his response. He was asked about in the hallway. Unfortunately, C-SPAN's audio isn't that great, so you just have to listen up real good. But somebody in the Tubes chat, Andrew, you said too much fluff, not enough acknowledgement about present reality, much like the past. What do you want me to be speaking about? This literally happened yesterday. What do you want me to be speaking about? I would love any advice. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, who'd you vote for?
39, and I voted for Trump.
Okay, what state did you vote in?
I'm sorry, what?
What state did you vote in?
Oh, Illinois.
Hi, Lenati. All right, why are you still supporting Trump?
Why am I still supporting Trump? Because he's way better than the alternative.
No, why are you supporting him as president right
now?
now?
Oh, as the current right now?
Yeah.
Well, right now it seems like he's doing a fairly good job.
With
what? You don't have to like what the man says, but if he's doing a good job, you got to roll with the punch. I'm sorry, with what?
What is he doing a good job with? Name one thing and we can talk about it.
Name one thing? Sure. The gas prices are definitely down.
What did he do to effectuate that?
Well, he undid a few of the policies that were definitely keeping he undid a few of the policies that Biden put in effect.
Like what?
Like what? Well, all the policies that he had in place.
Name one.
Name one.
Yeah, that he reversed from Biden that was restricting oil and made gas prices go up.
Well, he definitely did cut off he didn't open it up, but he was getting in the process of opening up the pipeline, which Biden did, and it did.
Oh, which pipeline is that?
Keystone Pipeline.
Oh, the Keystone Pipeline's been running. You're not talking about that one. Which one are you talking about?
Okay. Oh.
The Keystone Pipeline has never stopped running. You're talking about the Keystone XL, which the Supreme Court ended under Trump's first administration. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, okay. So all Biden did was pull the permit on a pipeline that was already done. The Montana Supreme Court issued the ruling because it was going through indigenous land that they could not build it. The Supreme Court said, we're not taking up that case, so the Montana court opinion stands. So all that meant that there were contractors for this pipeline that was never going to get built because the Supreme Court said nah, and Biden released them from that contract so they could go on to other contracts. That's it. That's all that happened.
Oh.
So how did that effectuate gas? Because it wasn't built.
Well, all right, I got a question for you. So why did gas prices go up if he had no effect? Huh?
When?
Right after, with 6 months after Trump was out of office. So if he had no effect on gas, how is it that gas went up, and then when he got back in office, and the gas went down?
Do you happen to remember the giant thing that happened across the globe during 2020?
During 2020? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, what was that?
Yeah, the pandemic.
Cool. Yeah. So in 2020, Donald Trump got into what's called the OPEC plus deal, okay, with the OPEC countries that are in charge of regulating the amount of oil that we import, because we import a lot of oil, even though we do drill a lot. That's true. We drill a lot. Our oil is expensive to refine and to do. So a lot of times we send it out or we sell it, and we actually import a lot of oil from other countries. So Donald Trump did the OPEC plus 2020 deal because during lockdown, during COVID in 2020, people weren't driving as much because it was just essential workers and people who had to work. Most people were not driving, so there weren't as many cars. So gas prices were plummeting. And so they were like, hey, we're not making as much money. He's like, you know what? You're right. You're not making as much money, and we're just going to try and regulate the price so that the gas isn't too far down, not too high, but not too far down. So what we can do is, can we strike a deal where you guys reduce the amount of oil that you're drilling by 10 million barrels a day? And they said, cool. And he said, how long are we going to do that for? And they were like, together, Trump and them were like, we'll do that for 2 years. So for 2 years as OPEC, we are going to drill 10 million barrels less of oil. The problem with that is that 2 years later, in 2021 and 2022, when everybody's getting back to work and out on the roads again, there's not as much oil, even though there's a lot of demand. So the prices skyrocketed. Which I don't even honestly put past Trump, because some sort of deal needed to be made. I don't like the fact that he did 2 years, but some sort of deal on gas needed to be made during that time because gas prices were so low. So I understand the need for the deal, but 2 years was ridiculous. And so when you have that much of a demand for oil, but they're drilling less, the prices went up under the Biden administration. Absolutely. That happened. But I just don't see where and gas prices are coming down. I don't see where Trump did anything to effectuate that, other than the fact that we are now importing more oil, which is why we see a lot of layoffs in the American oil industry.
I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, can I ask you a question? Who did you vote for?
I voted for Kamala Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, it was all right. No, I saw you on YouTube, and you sounded like a really intelligent person. I figured I'd call in and see what you had to say. I didn't think I'd get through this quick.
Yeah,
But
sometimes they call a lot, and sometimes I get no calls at all. I appreciate you being civil, and like I said, even with that stuff that I just told you, don't just believe me. I would prefer if you would, whenever you have time. I know capitalism and life keeps people busy, but to look it up, because I don't want people to just believe me. I'd rather people look it up themselves.
Oh yeah, and you know what? And also with keeping up with all the politics and everything, it's impossible with everything that's going on.
And that's on purpose. And especially
Well,
with
yeah.
the Trump administration, Steve Bannon specifically said what they're going to do is flood the zone, which is constantly keeping a barrage of breaking news all the time so that it's very hard to keep up with. We all have lives. I mean, this is my job, but most people have other
Yeah.
jobs that keep them very, very busy. And you want to spend time with your family. The last thing you want to do is focus on what the fuck the president is doing. And unfortunately, that is where we are, that I have to.
Well, not just that. You also got to realize that what most people don't understand is, like, it's not just the president. There's more than one branch of government, and it's impossible to keep up with everything that's going on. And it's I don't know. It was very what you had to say was very interesting. And even though I have my political leans,
sure.
You should always. Because like I said, if you watch the news and you go to it, like every news station is going to have their different take. And
Yeah, no, and news stations are
So-
very biased depending on the news station. I absolutely agree with that, which is why I prefer to read statistics and things like that. Like I would never deny that gas prices are definitely down. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that I give that credit to Trump simply because he's in office. I would want to see why and where it's coming from, and I just don't think that that's benefiting Americans to a significant degree when we have things like tariffs bringing the cost up, people losing their health care benefits. I think that that's something that's a problem.
Well, also another thing, I'm just going to point this out when it comes to gas prices, is also taxes. I'm not saying you've ever done it, but I work for a company and they deal with gas. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to deal with that.
No, you're
But
fine.
if you look at the shipment fee, like the bill, most of it is like half of what you're paying is taxes and shipping and handling fees.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like I was saying before, people will just give certain people credit, and it's a lot of times it's a smaller government that will that can help with those taxes and fees and like reducing them. So like I said, I live in Illinois, and it's absolutely insane. We actually have the Sicko plant, where they're like an oil refinery plant.
Okay.
Like maybe 10 miles from where I live, and most of the gas that's distributed through where I live comes from that plant. So and depending on what county you're in, dictates greatly how much you're getting taxed.
Yeah,
It's
I personally think, and I know that that's a leftist ideal that most conservative people don't like, and they think that it's big government, but I just think it is the
No.
duty to support the general welfare of the American people, and in doing so, I would prefer Congress to put some sort of limitations. I don't begrudge anybody who made a bunch of money. Good for you, you made a bunch of money. But if you are a
Yeah.
huge, oil company conglomerate and you're making a shit ton of money and you're gonna be fine, I don't think that you should then get to pass on these import fees and the things that you're paying to bring this oil in and to bring this stuff in. I don't think you should be passing that down to the American consumer off rip, where you are still making so much money you can get on rockets to the moon. Like, that's silly to me.
Well, also you got to, and I don't know how flustered this is going to make you, but you also got to remember unions, and they've got to get their dues.
I like unions. I'm pro-union. This administration really isn't, which is a problem, but.
Well, I mean, with the unions, I know a lot of people that are in the unions, and it's a lot of times like that could also be a problem with the do's and don'ts and what projects won't get taken on.
Sure.
And that can play a big role as far as what government will do. So.
Sure, no, I can agree, but I think that's where regulation and things like that come in, that it's like, okay, well, the union also doesn't get to just do whatever they want to do that's going to be impacting its own members if they can't get contracts or get benefits and get things done. I agree with that.
Well, it's not just that. It's also like where are they going to allow certain projects to be done? They have a lot more say than I think people realize. And I'm just going to say this. My father was a union man. I'm not slamming unions, but, there's more at play, and I agree.
Sure.
But you have to be, as far as like the president is concerned, he should be, whenever he signs regulations or legislations as what the lower governments can do, and I think that's just as important. And that's what I was kind of, because I remember whenever they were promising 10,000, what was it, 10,000 or 30,000 jobs whenever in 2020's election, and then they got, I think it was Biden and Harris, and then he got elected, and it was for jobs like further down the road. It was like I think it was like 30,000 jobs, and it was like 10 years out, and it was for I think it was for like solar farms.
Let's see. In March of 2024, President Biden announced a preliminary agreement with Intel.
It was
supported by
2020.
2020 would be Donald Trump.
No, I'm saying for that election.
Right. So no. So this would probably be right. What I mean is into his presidency. So he probably promised 30,000 jobs in way of the Chips and Science Act, which that would be over a 10-year period because the Chips and Science Act would take a while. But the thing is that Joe Biden did add to the jobs. It wasn't just bounce back jobs after COVID. He added to the jobs, actually, to the point that we're seeing that Trump's addition to jobs this last year was pitiful in comparison to what Biden added in jobs, the Biden admin.
What jobs did he provide? I'm not trying to bust jobs. What jobs did he provide?
Let's look at job numbers under Biden. Bureau of Labor Statistics. What's this? I don't want press releases. Sorry, I'm trying to find something that's actual statistics. Not versus Trump. That's probably why. I don't need versus Trump. I just need his jobs. Thank you. Oh my God. Let's see. Because I just saw the headline about it because he had only added 180,000 jobs and Biden had added, I think it was upwards over 1 million over the course of his entire admin.
But what I'm saying, like, what kind of jobs? We'll go with Trump since that's the one.
Sure. I mean, so I'd have to go into the specific BLS report. So, like, if I do a BLS report for a specific month, let's do like July of 2023. I'd have to find a specific BLS report because those go into what sectors specifically are going to give you jobs. So let's see. Total non-farm payroll employment rose by 187,000 in July. Unemployment rate changed a little at 3.5%. Let's look down here and see what kind of jobs we had. Construction employment continued to trend up. Leisure and hospitality went up. Professional and business services changed little in July. So yeah, it looks like construction, financial activities increased also during that time. So it looks like construction, financial, leisure, and hospitality were the ones that went up in that specific month under the Joe Biden administration.
Okay.
Sure.
And then what did Trump do for, we'll say, this last month?
So last month.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go. That I should have in my sources here. I have sources, economy. Oh, that's core inflation. I don't want that one. I need the jobs one. Okay. So this one's going to be for January, technically released in February. We had total non-farm payroll employment rose by 130,000 in July. Unemployment rate changed little at 4.3%. Let's do the jobs. Healthcare added 82,000 jobs. Construction added 33,000 jobs. And federal government employment declined. Financial activity employment declined. So let's see. This says employment showed little change over the month in other major industries, including mining, quarrying, and oil and gas extraction, manufacturing, wholesale trade, retail trade, transportation and warehousing, information, professional and business services, leisure and hospitality, and other services. And I mean, we've seen under the Trump administration that manufacturing has just been like on a steady decline.
Okay. All right. That's what I just ask.
No, of course. I don't have any issue with that.
And plus, I try to keep it fair. You know, I'm not going to like just try to hammer you with.
No, you're fine.
Because that's not a debate. That's just, or not a conversation. That's just.
No, you want
trying to get a
information.
gotcha.
That's how I
Yeah.
love to work. I have no issue with that. I don't like to talk about feelings. I don't think that that helps us when there's facts there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but there's always those people where it's like they get locked into the worldview, and then they try to they get in this obscure. The one thing I've noticed, and I'm not saying you do it, but
Sure.
I notice some people what they'll do is they'll bring up some obscure one-off thing that happened in history one time. Yeah, did you know that X, Y, and Z happened in some Mudwater, Mississippi in 1776? And it's like, what does that have to do with the finances of right now?
Right. I mean, yeah, it would depend on what the history could tell us about now or the future. But yeah, I agree. If you're bringing
Yeah.
up random examples, then yeah.
But yeah, no, I just try to keep it just fair. My main point with what was bringing that up is sometimes a lot of politicians, what they'll do is they'll have a major uptick in federal government employees, like federal hiring.
Sure.
And then they'll say, "Well, see, I increased jobs." Well, not really, unless
Well, but those are jobs.
As far as they are jobs, but you're not really. They're, how to put it? They're jobs that you can easily create. It's not one of those things where your economy is improving, which is
Sure, that the private
and
sector is
people are-
booming, and
yeah.
so they're creating jobs. Yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Because the federal
So-
government can just create a sector and fill it with
Yes.
people. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying one side does it more than the other. They both do it, but
Sure. I mean, Donald
Uh,
Trump's running on specifically slashing people's federal jobs. But both sides have done it in the past for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, so here, yeah, I found one of the articles. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics found that U.S. employers added 181,000 jobs last year. That would have been for 2025, far fewer than
Yeah.
the 1.46 million jobs that were added in 2024. So in 2024 alone, you got 1.46 million jobs that were added, versus 181,000 only for the year of 2025.
Yeah.
So it's just my issue again is most of the time is with Trump's lying. Trump doesn't say we need to work on this. Here's our plan to work on it. Trump says it's great, and I can't believe you guys don't think it's great. And I have a problem with that. Stop lying.
I can understand. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you about how you interpret things or what how you feel about things. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, because I've
But,
said this before, and I'll keep saying it. I think Biden made that mistake, Obama's made that mistake, and now Trump is making that same mistake by telling people that everything is fine, everything is good, and that he doesn't want to hear us complain about it when our pockets as average Americans aren't feeling that. I don't think Donald Trump's ever been
yeah.
to a grocery store in his entire life. So for him to sit here and say that everything's great, stop complaining, it's going to be the killing dose for him in the midterms this year if he keeps that up.
Well, I mean, possibly. It's. I think right now, and with the last 3 or 4 years, I think it's been a rough ride for
Sure,
everybody.
absolutely. Everybody was coming out of post-pandemic. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not defending him, but like you were saying, Biden and him and Obama,
Sure.
they've all said it. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's understandable. Let's be honest. If it's going to be a while before it gets better, you have to say something, but what do you say?
Sure, but the
as
problem
the
is
leader?
that yeah, sure, but the problem is that Donald Trump isn't saying that. You have
Oh,
Scott,
no,
you have
I'm
Scott
not.
Bessent saying that. You have Howard Lutnick saying it, right? They're now saying that 2026 is when it's going to pick up and it's going to be good. Donald Trump is saying this is all the Democrats' fault. This is Biden's fault, which is what's the expiration date on that excuse? And
But-
and coming up with and just saying that it is great.
But what I'm saying is that they've all said it, and it's understandable. When you're handed a crap sandwich, all you can do is say it's not that bad, and no matter who you are. But I think the problem is that he's just deflecting. That's all it is.
Yeah, no, I
And,
agree.
like
I
I
would
said
prefer to have a president who can admit when they, it's not where it should be. It's not what I promised you. And then I'm going to keep working with this, and this to have it be better, and to use Congress to do so with legislation that's going to last a long time. And he's not doing that.
Yeah, no. Or in my mind, as far as I'm concerned, the problem with a lot of our Congress, and this is once again both sides, no one wants to play ball. Everyone wants they want to be the one that looks like they fix things. They don't care if
Sure, I would
if
agree
they
with
did.
you. I would agree with you in normal circumstances, except that he has control of Congress right now, and they're not doing anything.
Well, there's a lot of rhinos. I'm just going to say that.
Who's
There's a lot of people.
But who's blocking it? Like, they're not even bringing stuff up for votes. They're just like tariffs is something that should be done congressionally. They're just letting Donald Trump do whatever he wants. Him talking about regulating corporations being able to buy up homes, writing an EO doesn't do that. It would have to be put through Congress. They're not writing up or drafting up anything. They're just letting him do whatever he wants that doesn't actually do anything in the private sector when they have the control. And to me, a rhino is a real Republican. As somebody who grew up around that, a rhino is a real Republican. MAGA has destroyed what the Republican Party was.
I think. Well, you know what? The one thing I will say is in my opinion, with the way some of the middle of the road Republicans, the problem is that they're willing to give up certain things
Their
that
power.
they said that they wouldn't. They say they stand for certain things, and then they don't.
Yeah.
Because when push comes to shove, it's all about power and money.
No, I agree. We need to end Citizens United and get money out of politics so that it's not just going to the highest bidder in whatever race it is.
Well, the problem is where there's money to be made, there's going to be people that are going to be willing to protect that money.
Yeah.
And there's way too much money to just walk away from.
Well, then we need to keep pushing them to walk away from it, or that they won't get elected if they choose to keep lobbying for these groups. I think that's just, we have to use our voting power and our voices for that, which is what we're trying to say. Stop giving tax breaks to the fucking billionaires and actually help out the average American people. Stop lobbying for big corporations and crypto schemes and actually advocate for the help of the American people. We have to keep pushing for that.
But just like cancer, there's no money in the cure. So no one's interested.
There is.
And
There
as
is money in that. It would be an absolute good investment to have the people who work your capitalism, who keep it up, like keep the economy going. You need them to keep being alive, keep pumping out kids into the machine. And if you're not investing in them to do it, you're not going to get the outcome that you want.
Let me ask you a question, just really quick. And you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. So you said you've grown up around politics. Are you?
Well, my parents voted like Bush Republican when I was growing up.
Okay,
So not like around politics.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your parents were conservative, or are conservative.
Not anymore. They used to be growing up. I think Bush was a different kind of. He was like a dyed-in-the-wool Republican back in the day. But my parents then went on to vote for Obama both times. And then my mother pretty much ended up voting Democrat after that. My father passed away when I was 16, so we didn't quite get to Hillary for him. But
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But they moved their views. It's not like they're not conservative about some things. They just aren't what it is.
Well,
And no, Jeff Julian, I'm not making anything up. My parents voted for Bush both times.
Well, you can change. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to ask you where you live, but if
I'm
you
in Colorado, I have no problem saying that.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I mean, everyone has a right to their privacy.
No, but, I appreciate you saying that, but I'm in Colorado.
But if you move from one state to another because it's more convenient, maybe it's closer to family,
sure.
Especially after a loved one's passing. You just like the environment. I'm not even saying so much the people, but just the environment can really change how you look at stuff, look at things, look at life.
Sure.
It does change you.
Well, we
'Cause
were all
what-
over the place. I mean, I'll give you a little backstory. My dad was in the Air Force. He was a K-9 handler in the Air Force for 12 years. And so we moved all over the place. And so we went from like Washington to New Mexico to Germany to North Dakota to Indiana, and then we came here. And I think for him, who he was also in Kuwait during the Gulf War, he was also in Korea when I was like 1. So I think for him and for my family watching, even though they voted for Bush both times, watching what happened to our troops under a lie and sending all these young men to die in Iraq, I think was a big turning point for them, where it was an issue that Republicans don't give a fuck about what they're lying about, and they will use our bodies to do it. And my father had seizures ever since he came back from the Gulf, and that is actually what took his life. He had a grand mal seizure and he did not wake up. And I think it just how he was treated through the VA and trying to diagnose, trying to get the right medication for that seizure, it really just changed his outlook on how Republicans fund or lack of fund or treat veterans in this society, and it just moved them left.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But I appreciate our civil conversation, and you are definitely welcome to call in anytime. We can have more discussions about, things. We have differing opinions, and that's fine, but at least you and I can talk civilly. But I think I am going to move on, but I do appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, thank you too.
Was he Keystone Pipeline?
He was Keystone Pipeline.
See, so when I heard Keystone Pipeline and I like sighed really loud, and then the bug guy came in and I'm like, shit. So I turned on my computer and I'm like, okay, yeah, spray the house for bugs. I'm just gonna sit here
not the
and
bug
silently crash out. That's crazy.
Guys, we are at 87,000 likes with about a little more than 20 minutes to go. You guys, I appreciate you guys for doing that.
Oh, here they come.
Is that not the same number I was just talking to? No, it was not. Thank you for calling the stream. Age, state, and who did you vote for?
Voted for Trump.
Okay, can I get your age and state, please?
This one's not going to be pleasant.
Can I get your age and your state, please?
39, Washington State.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Why?
Yep.
Well, because I truly believe that he's putting Americans first.
With what policy?
With pretty much all of his policies.
Sure, let's name one and we can talk about
I mean, if you look at the Save America Act, the Lincoln Riley that he just signed, protecting Americans from illegal setup.
Did you read the Lincoln Riley Act?
Well, no.
Okay.
I haven't, but
do you know what it
A
is?
lot of people talk about it.
Yeah. Do you know what it is?
Do I know what it is?
Yeah.
It's well, honestly, no, I don't, because I haven't read anything about it. I just watch what people talk about it, and from my understanding of it, it's to get illegal immigrants that come across illegally, especially the bad ones that already had a criminal background before coming here, and then continued to do violence against American people. I think if you watch the State of the Union address last night, and he says, for everyone that agrees with me, stand up for it, and that is that the government should be for the American people and not illegal immigrants. Not one single Democrat stood up.
Yeah.
So that tells me that the Democrats are not for the American people. They're for the illegal immigrants that come across illegally.
Sure. So let's get into that. Real quick, I want to reference the Lincoln Riley Act. The Lincoln Riley Act, I don't have a problem with it being passed. The issue that I have is how it is framed, with just like how you framed it, which is the fact that this has never been done before. That's not true. All that the Lincoln Riley Act is, it is a redundant act, meaning that it just says the thing that's already the thing. If a illegal immigrant or any kind of immigrant or any U.S. citizen commits a crime, right, they need to be charged, indicted, and thrown in jail. In regards to immigrants, even legal ones, and illegal immigrants specifically, right, What it does is it says that if you are found and convicted of an act, specifically a violent crime, that you are to serve your time and then you are deported. That's already the law. Like, that's my issue with it. It is being framed like it's something new when it's not something new. If you are an illegal immigrant and you are convicted of a crime, specifically a violent crime, you have to serve your sentence here in the United States. So right now, Laken Riley's killer is in a prison in the United States of America because he has to serve his sentence here. And then they are put through deportation proceedings. That's already the law. So that's my first issue.
But can I ask the person, if I remember correctly, that ended up killing Lincoln Riley?
Laken.
Sorry. He was committed a crime and was put into jail or prison, and then they released him, and then he went out and did what he did again. So that was under Democrats, under the Democrats that allowed that to happen.
It's not the Democrats that allowed it to happen. It is not the Democrats that allowed that to happen. That is the law. He committed a completely separate crime that had nothing to do with that, supposedly, but again, I would have to look that up. Supposedly committed a crime before that where he was then bailed out as per the law, and then went out and committed another crime, which you can never assume that you're going to know if somebody's going to commit another crime or not. Is it absolutely horrid? Yes. Most people don't know about Molly Tibbetts, who was also killed by an undocumented immigrant in Trump's first term, which he never talks about, doesn't seem to care about. All of a sudden, we are just tokenizing this poor woman who was killed by a man, and we're not focusing on the fact that statistically, U.S. citizens are more likely than illegal immigrants to commit violent crimes against other people. That is just the facts of the situation. Now, does that mean we ignore what illegal immigrants are doing? No, of course not. But I don't blanket statement this one person who did this horrible fucking act to Laken Riley and say that all illegal immigrants, which is not even a term used within the DHS, to talk about this entire group of people. People don't know the law. The reason Democrats didn't step up is because we are a hop, skip, and a jump away from making immigrants wear fucking armbands to prove who they are. Like, it is disgusting rhetoric to me to put down an entire group of people who, again, statistically less likely to commit crime when we have an administration who's not doing anything for the U.S. population except put down other people.
I don't think they're putting down other people. I think we're just trying to get our borders under control, and we're trying to get this is what I see, is the current administration that's in there right now is trying to get all the bad immigrants that have criminal backgrounds and continue to commit crimes while here.
According to the DHS,
get them out.
According to DHS's own numbers, DHS's Kristi Noem, according to DHS's own numbers, 70% or 2/3 of the people that they have detained do not have a criminal record at all. They are also detaining people at their court date, so people who are doing it the legal way. They have also deported people who have green cards or permanent resident status in the United States. They are not going after the worst of the worst. They're not going after immigrants. They're just going after criminal immigrants. They're just going after immigrants. That's it. That's all.
Well, can I just say something real quick?
Maybe.
Well, what I want to say is, one, I was just watching you on YouTube Live.
Sure.
And I saw the number, and I saw it was a local number to where I'm at.
I was born there, but no.
Yeah, 509.
Yeah.
That's
Spokane.
where I'm at. Well, no, I'm in the Tri-City area.
Yeah, but this one came up when I Googled getting a Google number. It came up as Spokane.
Oh, it should have been Tri-Cities. But,
yeah, Google Voice said it.
Yeah. Anyways, I want to say thank you for answering my call.
Sure.
I'm not trying to argue or say that you're wrong or, you know what I mean? I just wanted to have a civil conversation, which I think that has gone out the window with a lot of people, where they can't have a civil conversation and agree to disagree, or, you know what I mean? And so I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you taking my call.
No, I appreciate you being civil. My thing is that I just don't agree to disagree on facts, and that's the only kinds of conversations that I'm willing to have is based off of factual information, and I don't have any problem with doing that. But I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah. I don't have facts in front of me because I'm actually on the road right now, going to Manson, Washington, to make a delivery for my job.
Yeah, you're working. You're doing the grind. I get it.
Yeah, but I was just watching you on live YouTube, and I was like, yeah, I'd like to try to call and see if I actually get an answer. So it's surprised that you did answer, and we're having this conversation right now. So thank you.
No, of course. I don't have any problem with that. So yeah, like I said though, do you need to go or are you still good to talk?
No, I'm good to talk.
Okay.
I might lose service maybe if I get to a certain spot, but
No, you're totally fine. So yeah, so again, in regards to immigration, I just don't see where there's anything that's going to be beneficial for the American people by mass getting rid of these people. It actually is costing us so much money because we're not even mass deporting right now; we're mass detaining. So that's where I have a big issue is we're just mass detaining people. Again, a majority of whom do not have criminal records, and I'm just not seeing where this is benefiting the American people, other than some people, not saying you, but some people just get off on cruelty towards other humans, and I just don't understand where the benefit is.
well, can I ask you when Obama mass deported 3 million people,
3
or
million
however
people.
many it was?
Yep.
Where was the passion for those people that were getting deported?
Well, the
Like
ACLU, the ACLU sued Obama multiple times, and there were protests. Multiple people got arrested outside of the White House under Obama.
Yeah, but there was no protest. There was no.
Yes, there was.
Nothing like it is right now because of Trump.
That's not true. There were mass protests. They marched towards the White House. They got arrested in front of the White House specifically because they did not like that they were keeping teenagers in cages under the Obama administration. There were protests all over the place for him to stop his deportations. And I will add that, yes, so there were protests. This was still happening. Social media has changed, though. Social media was not the same back then as it is now, where literally you can go live at a protest as a civilian. That wasn't something that you were capable of doing. So you could only get pictures of protests from the news reporting your protest.
Well, my point about it is you didn't have protests where you have people causing damage to businesses, causing damage to police stations or government vehicles.
Who's
you
doing?
Didn't have any of that.
Right, but that's not true, one. But two, that's not a mass majority of the protesting. There are always agitators, and I don't agree with agitators, but there are always agitators who come and start bullshit, and I don't agree with it. But that has nothing to do with the fact that they're protesting the same thing, which is the violation of the rights of humans under our Constitution. It was the same thing with Obama, who was being sued by the ACLU for expedited removal, and it is very similar now, but almost worse, with the fact that these people are having their Fourth Amendment rights violated by having ICE knock down their doors without judicial warrants, by having ICE agents. And here's my thing, I've talked about this before. Obama was able to deport 3 million people and not have ICE agents with weapons who are untrained roaming our cities. So why was Obama able to do such a better job without the fear?
Well, I think the term people that are not trained, or saying people are not trained that are ICE agents, I disagree with that, because the majority of ICE agents are ex-military, or they left law enforcement to join ICE to do what they do now.
Sure, ex-military, I would not count that as trained in a civilian population, because the way you are trained in the military for what you have to do overseas is not the same kind of training you would need to be around U.S. citizens in the United States of America. Now, ex-law enforcement, I would also have an issue with, in way of making sure that they've gone through their proper mental health screenings and trainings, because there's a lot of trauma that comes with being a cop. What we do know is that under ICE, they have reduced the training days to 47 days of training. That's it. That's that's all that they have to be out there. They have been telling them. We have an ICE whistleblower, and we have the memo. We have the the Congress people who are coming out and saying that an administrative warrant is the same thing as a judicial warrant, meaning you can break down private resident doors to do it. And that's not true. An administrative warrant, all it does is it's signed by either an immigration judge or an ICE agent themselves, and it allows you to detain certain people listed on there out in public. It does not allow you to go into private residence. It doesn't allow you to go into private businesses. And they are saying that it is the same thing now when it's not. Like, there has been a complete upheaval and change of what is allowed in ICE and what they're getting away with. But again, my point is that they're changing this entire system for the worse and still deporting less people than Obama did, and Obama didn't need to do it this way.
I don't know the exact numbers that we've deported right now, but I mean, it's only been a year.
W Tappers, by the way, thank you guys so much. I appreciate for hitting that 100,000 likes. You guys are fucking awesome. Can we work on my 92 goal while I'm sitting here, please?
Then the place where we put people while we're waiting
Links
to
in
deport
bio.
them, like you got the Alligator Island or whatever they call it in Florida. That place is like a 5-star hotel compared to what the Obamas.
No, where do you guys get this stuff from? One, Alligator Alcatraz had to be dissolved. It's no longer a thing because the courts said no. Also, it did not have air conditioning. It was flooding because it is in the marshlands. The food was not adequate. There were bugs and mosquitoes everywhere, which is a breeding ground for malaria. But the courts shut it down and said you needed to move them somewhere else.
I didn't know any of that, but
I know you guys don't. I need you guys to read about it.
I only go by what I see from social media because that's all I have access to.
I know, but they could be lying to you. Social media can be lying to you. That's the problem.
Well, I agree with that. There's a lot of social media that lies to you, and I think, I don't know. I think the Democrats lie more than anything because I don't really think they're for the people, and I think you look at the black community, the black Americans.
Are you black?
No.
Okay. I'm also not black.
I'm Puerto Rican, Mexican, and French Canadian Indian, and white, and whatever else I have in me.
Cool. So you're white. So you as a white American and me as a white American, we're not going to talk about the black community at all. At all.
No, that's fine. I was just saying.
Yeah, but we don't get to speak for them.
I'm not speaking for it. I'm just going by what I see.
That's speaking for them by what you see.
What you see through a white man's eyes.
Okay. Anyways,
I would just advise you, not to trust in social media and to actually read about the things.
There's Americans that are brown, white, whatever, that are waking up to how Democrats are brainwashing people, saying that you need us, you need to rely on us, and that's why you have so many Americans, whether you're brown, black, white, I don't care what color or race you are, that depend on food stamps or government assistance. And what it is these people just need to get up and go to work.
My God.
And
that's a wild pivot, but what percentage of Americans who receive SNAP work full-time jobs? Do you know?
Y'all don't forget about that SWAN or that 10.
Would that work full-time jobs?
Mm-hmm. Full-time or part-time, I apologize. Full-time and part-time jobs. What percentage of Americans who receive SNAP benefits work full-time and part-time jobs?
Good question.
It's over 70%.
Well, I work full-time. I make less than $40,000 a year, and I don't need food stamps.
You don't need them. That's great. I'm so proud of you. There are families that do.
Well, there's a lot of families that don't need it. They just need to get up and go to work.
They are working. My husband works full-time, and we still, because of the wage gap, right? There is a wage gap versus what people make versus what shit costs that people cannot afford. And the Republicans are not doing anything about that. They're not raising the minimum wage. They're not closing the wealth gap. They're not doing anything about that. But we're going to blame the fucking poor people while the rich people get rich.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know you don't. Stop fucking blaming poor people for being poor. Holy fuck. W, not Brett Cross. Not Brett Cross. W, not Brett Cross for the Swan. Hold on, let me give you your sound.
Call him Dan.
Dan? Is that Dan?
That's Dan. That's Dan who tried
It's
to make me say his.
Not Brett Cross.
No, it's fucking Dan.
Stop blaming fucking poor people for being poor and maybe fix the situation that put them in there. Do you think that I like having to fucking talk to the goddamn SNAP office? Do you think that's fun? Do you think it's fun to be on the phone that long? And to list every fucking expense you have when you have it? Do you think it's fun for them to be in my life like that? It's not fucking fun. But I need supplemental income to feed my children. God forbid I try to feed my fucking children. My husband has a fucking job. What, do you want my kids to get a job? They're in fucking school. It's weird to me, but you will glaze Elon Musk, you will glaze Jeff Bezos, you will glaze Donald Trump, who has made over $1.4 billion in office off of fucking crypto scams and fucking favors to the Qatari government. That's fine for you. That's fine, W, Trump daddy, we love that, but fuck the poor people for being poor. What do you mean? Brooke Rollins said you should be able to feed your family on $13 a day. Have you ever gone to the grocery store, bitch? Wild. Anyway, this is my job. I am the Republican wet dream. I am a stay-at-home motherfucking mother. I actually do this to get extra money. I know y'all hate that, but I do. I am a stay-at-home mom. I thought this is what you wanted. Men do better. Provide better. My husband has a full-time fucking job. We still can't afford food. What's up with that, government? What happened to my 1950s dream of having 2 cars and a house and 2.5 kids and a dog? Where's my white picket fence, bitch?
I mean, I had
There's
to
that
realize
emotion Ben wanted in the YouTube chat, by the way. He kept saying I'm getting emotional. That's actually emotion.
I had a realization just a few seconds ago. Am I consequently also a Republican wet dream to an extent? I don't like that.
Hi, Blue.
Hi. I'm going through a crisis.
I don't know if you I know he just brought it up earlier, but I don't know if you've addressed it because I was in a meeting for half the live. We talked about the Trump statement or that had that they keep bringing up about the Democrats not standing up?
That's literally what we were talking about in regards to, he brought up Laken Riley and illegal immigrants, and he was talking about that statement. And I said, again, we are a hop, skip, and a jump from forcing them to wear armbands.
Right. But it's more about the actual statement because they keep misquoting it. They keep talking about, he said that it should be America first, and if you don't believe in America first, then stand up. That's not what he said. The actual statement was, quote, "If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens." That is constitutionally untrue.
Right.
Constitutionally, the government is established for the general welfare and common defense of everyone
of its people.
under U.S. jurisdiction.
We went over this yesterday. We went over this last week. You guys can cry about persons versus citizens all you want. Take it up with the Supreme Court.
Are you asking them to read that thing called that preamble?
Yes. I'm asking them to read anything. Just read one.
Right.
Read Good Night Motherfucking Moon. I'm going to start ending midterm Mondays or start ending the days by reading one of my kids' children's book, I think.
I mean, you know what? I'm down.
I keep suggesting Hungry Caterpillar. They can once they're done with that, they can
I think we got to start with One Fish, Two Fish.
No, that's too complicated. It's
right.
That's too complicated. One Fish, Two Fish is very complicated. You gotta start lower. You gotta do Goodnight Moon. You gotta do Hungry Caterpillar. You gotta do Brown Bear. Brown Bear. What do you see? Those are all good ones.
What about Go the Fuck to Sleep?
Go the Fuck to Sleep is good. I have it somewhere. My husband has it. I just don't know where he put it. We have it somewhere. Just read the Constitution.
They might. Trump has actually suggested one. He suggested it during the the debate with Kamala, run spot run.
Oh, Run Spot
Oh,
Run
that
is a
is
good
true.
one. Yeah.
Like if y'all don't want our liberal suggestions, go with the one that Trump was.
Yeah, do Run Spot Run. Don't do Dick and Jane because those are racist little bitches, but do Run Spot Run. The Giving Tree is great. I don't know that they'd get the
I
message.
love that book.
Shel Silverstein was amazing.
Love it. I had his because we had that one and then we had like, was it Where the Sidewalk Is or it was the other one? I don't think it was Where the Sidewalk
I have a copy of Falling Up.
It was the other, one of the other ones, and it was one of my favorite like books of stories growing up.
We had a whole collection of like Where the Sidewalk Ends. It was like a big book.
A Light in the Attic. We had A Light in the Attic. That was the one. It was poems.
That's
that
a good
was
one.
Fucking great. Loved that.
Yeah,
one.
I read all of them in elementary school, and I like Falling Up was my favorite.
Oh god, Danielle, you did the math for me. I love you so much for that. I can't even tell you.
W Danielle.
Yeah, so W Danielle for the $17 on the Blue app. 92 minus 17 equals 75. Thank you. So I am very smart, not to toot my own horn, but I'm very smart about a lot of things. Math, not my thing. It's just not my thing. Thank you, Danielle, for doing the math for me.
I also want to throw out something that I mentioned in Olives earlier as well. That 133 people in here. I want y'all to ponder over as well. Representative Al Green had a sign that said "Black people are not apes." He got ejected from the State of the Union for holding up that sign. Does that mean that they disagree with that statement?
So literally right before this call, I know you weren't here, Blue, but right before that long call that ended that way, the last video I showed was a split screen of him holding that sign behind Trump, and then the sequence of baby back bitch Mark Wayne Mullins trying to take it from him. And I'm actually still going to play it now, which is his response. It is a 4-minute response to C-SPAN after being ejected. We didn't get a chance to play it because we were on that phone call, but I am going to play it before we end today. It'll be the last thing that we get through on the outline today, which is totally fine because I want y'all to listen to Al Green. Like Blue said, if you are that mad about his use of free speech by saying that, are you agreeing to what Donald Trump posted and what the antithesis of that sign said? Sit in that for a little bit, maybe.
As you know, the president.
Again, I apologize. The sound is so low on the C-SPAN.
Come on, C-SPAN. Get better microphones.
Has depicted a former president and first lady as apes. The behavior has been declared racist by a good many people. But I don't think the president has really received the message that is unacceptable. He seems to think that he can do these dastardly things with impunity. Tonight, I wanted him to have a person confront him and let him know that black people aren't apes, that black people are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. I don't speak for everybody, but I speak for people of goodwill who understand that if you tolerate this kind of behavior, you perpetuate it. I refuse to tolerate this level of hate that the president is in fact putting into policy. We must take a stand against this level of invidious discrimination. I wanted him to know and I wanted him to see it and hear it up close. But judging from the expression on his face, he got the message. He saw it, he got the message, and I hope that others will let him have a similar message so that he will discontinue this behavior. Now, there are people who believe that I should not take a stand such as this. There are others who have taken stands, and they too have been vilified. Dr. King went to jail for taking a stand. Rosa Parks went to jail for taking a stand. Sometimes you have to take a stand. Rosa Parks was alone when she was arrested in a racist southern town, but she was there. There are times when it is, on some issues, better to stand alone than not stand at all. I stood alone, but I assure you, I would do it again because he must know that there are people who will take a stand against his insidious behavior.
Do you think you're standing alone on Capitol Hill?
I believe that there are others who agree with me, but for some reason, they're not ready to do what I do. And I'll not give any reasons to characterize why they choose to do what they do. But I know that there are many who agree with me. I've heard people in private conversations talk about it. And you've talked about it on television. You've seen it yourselves with the various persons who are on these various programs that talk about these kinds of issues, the political programs. So there are other people, but at some point you have to confront him face to face. He needed to see this. He needs to know that there are people who will take a stand against him. He has become a person who assumes that he is beyond the law. He doesn't recognize the separation of powers. He doesn't recognize due process of the law. He doesn't believe that judges can make rulings that are antithetical to his opinions and be right. He assumes that if he says it, it is right, and that might makes right. And if we allow this to continue, he is shredding the Constitution. He goes to war at will without conferring with the Congress. If we allow this to continue, the Constitution will be meaningless at some point. So we have to take a stand now.
What are the consequences for being kicked out 2 years in a row from the State of the Union?
I haven't. The consequences were of no consequence to me. You have to take a stand. The consequences of no consequence, in the sense that I would allow the consequences to prevent me from doing what I believe is a righteous thing to do. Dr. King did not allow the consequences to prevent him from going to Birmingham, and he went to jail. Rosa Parks did not allow the consequences to prevent her from taking a seat on the bus. That's where we are now. We are back to a point where people have to take a stand. I'm just a person who has done it. There are many others, I believe, who would. Thank you.
W. I'll agree.
Big W.
More people need to get better spines.
They really, really do. It's sad. I don't. Quick emergency alert. Why? If somebody else died, I'm gonna lose it. Unless it's him. Then
Hey, it's not anyone's dead. The arsenal's on fire. So
Fuck. Are you serious?
yeah, so stay vigilant.
God damn it.
Arsenal?
Which way is the wind blowing today?
Southeast. So
Okay.
I'm confused.
it's like the giant open space by
Yeah,
our house.
we have a giant national park where our buffalo are over here. We live right next to it. It's called the Arsenal, the Rocky Mountain Arsenal.
They used to manufacture mustard gas, and now it's a wildlife refuge.
Yep. They used to
But-
manufacture mustard
Damn.
gas there.
In 3/4 of a mile.
But yeah, it's like a
No,
giant
left
piece of
onto
land in the
56th
middle.
Avenue.
You're going to Vietnam.
All right. Well, I guess I'll pay attention to make sure the house doesn't catch on fire. That's fun.
I'll sign you up for the alerts just in case.
Okay.
Not you doing shit. That's mansplaining if I've ever heard anything.
I'll put your number in for the.
Well, no,
alert.
there's like National Weather Service alerts.
I'm
Yeah.
teasing. You be safe,
No, you
please.
yell at him. It's fine.
I just hope it blows towards the $1 million homes on the south side, not ours.
Crazy thing.
Ash is having her baby. Sorry, I saw
No,
that
you're
pop
fine.
up on my screen.
Did they mix Fabuloso and Bleach? No. There's still it's a really, really cool fucking place. It's one of my favorite places to go, and since it is federal, they'll never be able to build development around it, so it's just like this huge patch of land in the middle of like the eastern part of Colorado. And glyphosate's after the chemical weapons, yeah. So like, and you can literally fish there. There's lakes, but you can't take the fish home. It's all catch and release because like they test it constantly, but obviously that shit's buried. Like there is just soil that had made for mustard gas, buried underneath. But there's one on the wildlife drive. When you go, there's a wildlife drive where you can go see the bison. There's an area that has one of the old like bunkers where they would test them out, and it's got like the glass is all cracked out and stuff. But like where they would stand in when they would test these weapons, it's a really really cool fucking place.
What did the buffalo say to his son?
I don't know. What did he say?
Bye, son.
Bye, son. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. It is going to be red dog season soon. That's what it's called. When bison babies come out, I know way too much about this. I'm nerding out. When bison babies come out,
We found Monica's tism.
they look like red little dogs. And it's called red dog season. And I'm so excited because sometimes they like to hide, but sometimes when the babies are like out playing or whatever, like you can go and see them on the trail, and it's so cute. Let me see if I find him. Red dog bison.
Not people telling me to go to bed. I'm fine. I'm not laying in bed right now. That's
Look
crazy.
at the babies.
Oh my god, that is so
Look
cute.
at the red dogs. They're so cute.
Oh my god, I
I'm
want
so
one.
excited.
Manny!
I want to trigger English speaker, or really just anybody who knows English. Buffalo is a grammatically correct sentence.
I hate
Bless
it.
you.
I hate it so much, but it is. It is. It's true.
Baby bison with zoomies. Don't tell me that. Now I want
Oh
that
yeah,
on
we
my
have videos of
FYP.
it. He'll have to post them in the Discord. Stop it right now.
And each one of those buffalo means something different.
What?
Every one of
Well-
those buffaloes is either an adjective, an adverb, or a noun.
A different word.
Wait,
Yeah.
so I could be described with buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you
I mean, like
describe
if you're from Buffalo, like that's an adjective. If you're from Buffalo, New York,
I'm not
or if
though.
you're from the that's what like because there's like capitalization within there.
Yeah.
So some of it is like
Maybe I will
the
take
city
a
of Buffalo. Some of it is from from a I forget what it's called. It's like not a borough, but it's like a kind of district within Buffalo or within New York. That's called called
It says
Buffalo.
a city in Western New York, but it's called something different because New York names all their things.
Yeah, there's then there's the animal, then there's the word, then the verb that means to bully or to confuse.
So we
Stop
Buffalo
with the
people here.
education. We don't come here to learn.
Dance, Jester, dance.
Right.
That's what Lenati just said. Damn.
Pretty
Lenati.
much.
That was rough.
But to like
Hashtag
you can
Buffalo propaganda is wild, Kayla.
so you can like add more words to it to make it make more sense. So it'll be like buffalo that live in Buffalo, that buffalo bison in New York do bully or intimidate other buffalo bison. But it's buffalo.
Hey guys, swans work for friendlies or the 10. Not the fake news. That's crazy. Yeah, your tube chats ain't so happy.
They're just, and we're talking about
Why don't they like
buffaloes.
buffalo? What's wrong with buffalo?
Oh, we're talking about. Why are we talking about Somali pirates? We are talking about
Reporting
buffalo.
blue for misinformation is crazy.
That's crazy.
He already gets banned enough.
I know.
Right.
That's because of Lenati. It's been
Black
an hour.
History Month. That was black on black crime, Eli. How dare you?
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Need to know where the commas are. There are none.
I hate that. I hate everything.
It's just that sentence with a period.
Don't get
You wanna
Lenati involved.
That's I haven't been threatened yet today.
What's crazy is because I turned the phone lines off, right? Because it's after noon. But
Do you want to try playing games?
we can try.
On behalf of the YouTube chat, I would like to apologize.
We could try playing games.
I don't know why they're over here mad about Somali pirates. Pirates are on the water. You guys need to understand this. First of all, I know it's just racism, but pirates are on the water.
No.
No.
What?
Well, do you want to stream gaming and I'll just join? Is that what you want to do?
Well, we gotta get you set up for to put China on your computer.
I think I did it.
Oh, did you?
I was a creep. Don't. Shh, shh. You have it set to send your lives to me.
Oh, I do.
So I just went and found it where you guys walked Kayla through it.
Oh, that's fine. Not a big deal. Okay. That's
Except
not a creep. I purposely give people the ability to do that because I also suck at clipping my own shit.
That's fair.
And if people want to clip shit and like send it, or if they were like on my panel and they liked what they talked about and they want to use it for content, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
So I just don't give it to certain people like fucking Kayla.
We need to crowdsource a mouse for Kayla.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know why you don't have one. I think I did it right. My screen didn't so Kayla's screen came up with the like text box or whatever when it did the like thing. Mine didn't do that when I imported. It just like says it imported. So I don't know if I did it right. I might have done it wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Are you too involved in work, Blue?
Not really. I don't have any meetings at the moment. So I just have to keep an eye out for tickets to come in.
Okay.
Okay.
Jackie! Okay. Manny's at work. Because he can't play games on his work computer. Because the Republicans there get mad.
They don't like Joy.
No, well, actually, it's really funny though because I've never met them personally yet, but from what I'm hearing in the conversations that he does have with some of the people he works with, they are very moderate, which I think is a good thing. It's not like when I used to work and one of my directors was an absolute Trump supporter. She got mad when I was wearing Vote Like Ruth Sent You, but when I wrote her up to my head supervisor about her wearing a
I mean, they just be mad. So
get a fucking job. Go get a better job then. Get a job. Get a fucking job. You go get a job. Get a second job. Get a better job. Get a fucking job. You're just lazy. Get off YouTube and get a job. Go get a fucking job. Stop saying get a job. Wow, with all that get a job, y'all aren't in a cult. I feel like we could make a video of us doing get ready with us and just simply like crop different things throughout it. And then, like, just be like, and this is what we do. This is what I do. Because all the shade to Michaela, but when Michaela said that it's hard to be a content creator, it can be.
It can be.
But not her job.
No. I mean, we could do a get ready with me and just post the comments that we receive that are just absolutely fucking out of whack. I'm like, I get
dramatic read my hate comments.
I get paid to be called a bitch and a cunt. It's really fun. Love that for me.
Oh, new thing I've learned. Apparently, if they come up on your panel and they scream, they get taken down and your account gets flagged.
Ugh.
That's happened to me this morning. I was trying to have a conversation.
I told you, I haven't even been censoring myself with TOS. I don't fucking care.
I mean, at this point, I give two shits. Hi, AC. Hi, friend.
Hi, AC. As we get ready to end. So are you gonna you stream or you do whatever or we just play? It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, we can stream it because it'll be a little bit easier to like. Let me. Do I want to put on a shirt or do I want to stand? No, I have clothes on.
That's just, the most human thing ever. Though.
Like, do I want to put? I mean, I'm not putting on a bra. Fuck that shit.
Yes, they are saying get a job, but they're watching YouTube in the middle of the day.
Get a job, get a fucking job, get a second job, get a better, like, fuck you, you know, like, get a job, get a job, get a job.
Would you guys be cool with, like, just sitting and watching us set up game stuff? It's going to help I should probably look into dual streaming on the Purple app, but, I have 4 monitors.
Okay.
So, my parents dropped off my old computer shit when I was living with my parents. And I have an old PC that probably runs slower than Donald Trump being chased by Epstein files. And I have like 3 keyboards and a mouse, I think, still. So, Kayla, I could send you a mouse.
Right,
but
give her a mouse.
I might end up doing my, a third monitor for, because, you know, TikTok Studios is like, I gotta take up my whole computer.
Stop the cap. We're not girls, we are women. And yes, we both have respective boyfriends and husbands.
We do.
And I'm a lioness.
And Blue
I mean,
I hate it here.
yeah, I mean,
AC 4. I need 4. I have 3 monitors in my brother's room, and I need 1 more.
I have, so, but it was funny though, because when I looked at the monitors and I'm looking at the one that Manny got me, I'm like, I'm spoiled as shit. Like, when I say I'm spoiled, I am spoiled. I am fucking.
Captain Mothman, I cannot.
What it? Oh.
I'm a power bottom.
Can't relate. Well,
Eli, how could it be fake news? A Trump supporter told me that. A blagger, in fact, told me that I was a lioness.
But yeah, no, I can stream it and then we can set it up. If people, are you home, Kayla? I feel like my mother.
But then I'd get my middle name too.
Oh, also Whiskey was very mad.
Fine, Kayla.
Yeah, but not for long. Well, never mind then. Fuck you.
That's the problem too, is it takes us 500 years to set up playing games.
Right.
Still be in your box, she said.
No, I'm taken. Thank you.
Oh my.
I am
Insight.
happily taken.
We're buffaloing, Eli. It's fully buffaloing.
Link in bio.
No, I will control alt delete right now.
No. You should probably end the tubes thing just before they start
Raging.
Oh my god, they're talking about buffaloes.
They're just yelling, "Go Trump! LOL, dance." Said hi.
Pay me first, bitch.
Yeah, you gotta pay me to dance. Dance.